Ah, okay, okay,
Little one
okay.
right here. It's just for you.
Hey, hey, hey. Check, check. Good?
We're good.
Okay.
Thank you, Martin, for doing this interview with us. I'm very pleased to be talking to you here because there are not a lot of bands from Latin America that you're gonna know in Europe that produce the kind of sound that you do.
Thank you so much.
Because you kind of like it's a reminiscence of what I didn't live, but I love.
Yeah.
So it's very important, like to keep that alive, and I think that's what you do, and that's almost like when I hear you or when I see one of your shows, I think that's almost your goal, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I understand your feelings because the same thing happens to us, no? And we are big fans since we are little childs when since we grew up in South America, in Argentina, in Buenos Aires. Rock and roll was something hidden and forbidden,
And
because
forbidden.
because of the dictatorships and all that kind of things that
Yes.
happens in kind of countries.
And
And
ours too. So.
yeah, I know. But the thing is, the music that when we were little kids was totally prohibited. Uh, People went to jail only for having long hair. So imagine thinking of surrealistic things, or authors or writers or painters, or all that imaginary is it's what fills our music and all the things we do. Yeah.
Yeah. But uh, all those bands were working like in America, obviously, and in England, later in Berlin, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Uh, but you decided to come to Spain.
Yes.
Why?
Well, we are based. It's 20 years now that we are based in Bilbao, Basque Country. It's just the border with France, and we found a beautiful and incredible place there. And the first thing that brought us there, it was the feeling of the short distances. Living in South America, it was too difficult to tour,
Yes.
to be in on tour all year long because of the distances. Go to the next city, it's supposed 10 hours driving, or maybe 20, or 3 days driving. And 1998 we did our first European tour, and it was like a new world for us, like taking the van, taking the road, and being in 1 hour, in half an hour, being in a different city with different crowd, with different cultures, crossing cultures, and was really, really, really impressing for us. So we decided to stay, and we had very good friends in Bilbao. Basque people are very friendly and have big hearts, so we decided to stay there, but not staying really because we are most all of the year touring in America and Europe and all the world. So
Yeah. And you have obviously, and it's amazing because you have a lot of albums, and since 1998 you were saying I think it was a turning point for you.
yeah,
And you got to work, and I really want to know that because it's amazing for someone, for a band who loves so much music and has so many heroes and so many figures that made them turn into musicians. Like you do, you obviously you have Bowie,
yeah,
David Bowie, and first you work with John Agnello, right?
yeah,
That
yeah,
is
yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, it's
You
incredible.
know,
It's a good
let's go
friend.
there first
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it was before, like 2011, I
yeah.
think.
2011, exactly.
Yeah, And so it has a little bit of that feeling, more like Sonic Youth and Dinosaur Junior.
Because
it's yeah.
what what we think about the music history and the rock history, we think like a chain, you know.
Exactly.
It started in the 50s. Then some people, the Velvet Underground in New York in '67, took it and created another things. Yeah, and some bands in CBGB. Then late '77, and it was Bowie there. It was Iggy Pop there, and we feel like, and of course in in our teenage period, we really were stimulated by punk rock, by the first punk rock bands, and then in the 90s, of course, Sonic Youth and Dinosaur Jr. and Mad Honey and all that incredible.
You were talking about punk and girly punk and the things you did were like stuff like Richard Hell and or stuff more
we are
commercial.
big fans of Richard
Hell is amazing, and I just read his biography at Byron and Rough Trade. It's amazing.
Yeah, we have been so lucky to make an album with Ivan Julian, that was one of the Voidoids guitarist. Bob Quine and Ivan and Julian, for me as a guitarist, they are like superheroes.
That's great, because you got to work with superheroes. Because now we're going back to Bowie. You did a tribute album of the rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust, dreaming of Ziggy Stardust. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah, who doesn't? Yeah.
That's so amazing. Why did you decide to cover specifically that album of Bowie?
It was when we started the band, when Connie and I met in '97. I was obsessed all the time listening to Ziggy Stardust, all the time, repeating on an old vinyl Holland copy, Netherlands copy of the Ziggy Stardust, and she was really obsessed with Transformer of Lou Reed. So when we meet, the explosions,
completely, obviously.
Yeah. Fireworks were.
Yeah.
So
very vicious.
Yeah.
So vicious.
Yeah.
And then A Moonage Daydream.
Yeah. No, and it was our first. The first flame of Capsula, no?
And Capsula comes from Space Oddity.
Yeah, right? Space Oddity and Gingina. Because Gingina used to sleep in a capsule. So that was the very beginning of all of it. And 10 years, I don't remember exactly, but they were opening an opera house in Bilbao. They were reopening it, and the guy who was producing the act, he knows our devotion for Bowie, so he asked us, okay, maybe guys, you can play some Bowie songs for the reopening of this theater. And our answer was very brave from Bilbao. The people from Bilbao is very proud and brave. And we said, no, we are not doing only some songs. We are doing the whole album, and in order, And that was on telephone. So when I realized when I hung the telephone and I realized what I thought, I said I have to do it in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So what we do is
great responsibility.
Yeah. Big risk,
Big risk.
Because for a lot of people it's this album is very special. It marked a lot of lives. So what the best way to be honest for us was to decide not to do exactly, not to reproduce all the sound exactly, not to do a course or a tribute.
Just to do your own version and to
exactly.
your interpretation, your
Yeah,
feeling.
and to use what we have close and what we know to do it. That is make noise and use guitars and use all that Sonic Youth and Dinosaur Junior background and trying to think of what maybe Dali or Buñuel would make about that. But with guitars.
With guitars.
And in a dream.
They have also a cinematographic view of everything. That's really great. Like Bowie, that would think about everything.
Exactly.
That's great.
Little Bowies.
Did you get to meet him?
Sorry?
Did you get to meet him?
No personally. But a lot of dreams. We have some people in common that something I cannot tell, but that's okay.
But you can tell about Tony Visconti.
Yeah.
So you work with him too.
Well, that was the next step. After
a little bit more glam.
Recording that album,
right,
we continue producing our albums and touring, and we finally met Tony Visconti. But knowing all these superheroes for us is kind of okay. Life bring them to us, it's kind of not going behind and it was
your own path led you to that. Your own path. You didn't force anything.
Exactly. And
because you didn't like him, not like him. You didn't go after the American dream, did you? Because you went to South by South and stuff like that. But for me, I don't think you really you could go to San Francisco, stuff like that, and be a little bit like Rebel Motorcycle Club kind of feeling,
Yeah, no.
But you didn't need that, do you? That American dream?
No, for us it was like, okay, it's United States. It's another country with a lot of states, and we are touring all year long, lot of different countries, all different places, and United States is one more of this. This is the way we think, no? And people is, and the crowd, the audience, the rock and roll crowd is very similar in every country.
In every country,
so playing
because of those links you were talking about before.
Exactly.
It happens with the underground culture of rock and roll. We are all linked, and that's amazing because everywhere you go, either here or if you go to London or Berlin or whatever you are in the world, you get the same feeling, and that's amazing because. Before we talk about your latest album, The Santa Rosa, I want to talk about your live shows because your live shows are crazy.
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah, that's really amazing. And Connie, unfortunately, she's not here, but she has that fierce thing. She's looked like a cage animal on stage, Like we're watching her, and it's it's just totally overwhelming, and that's impossible not to react. Which is great because you create how can I say it? Like a reunion between the artist and the public. There's no barrier.
No. No.
And that's amazing because that is rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
That is almost like Kathleen Hanna, girls to the front.
Kind of ceremony, that we are all together in this moment, and we are sharing dancing, we are sharing energy. And that's what happens, no? And every night and every show is different, and you have to be looking at the eyes of the people to see what they are looking for that night.
You feed their energy.
Yeah, of course, because every night is different. The people is different. We are right now it's 20 years. We are. Now we can cut. No, and I was telling that in these 20 years, we found that our 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 audience, our public, is growing up with us.
Yeah.
So they have like new feelings, new emotions, and that's what we try to get in every night. That
And it has to accompany the times and the
exactly.
feelings and
Yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think is that why your Santa Rosa has a little bit more of punk, or more like interventionist feeling to it?
Yeah, yeah. Santa Rosa. I think Santa Rosa has a like very female uh, kind of catching the emotion. You know, like, and that's why it's called Santa Rosa. And yeah, of course, and it's very brave, and it's punk, and it has a lot of attitude and energy, like all female should.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Martin, for this interview.
Thank you, Vera.
Martin.
Muchas,
Did I say
Martin,
it right?
sí, sí,
Thank you so much, and I'm sure I'm gonna have a great show here. I'm gonna sweat a lot. I hope so.
yeah.
That's how I like it.
Muito obrigado. Vera, la ciudad de Vera.